This video is cubic functions from finite differences notes. So we're going to write a cubic function from a table. We're going to use finite differences. So we're going to identify first the change in x and then the third change in y. So the change in x here is increasing by 1 every time. I'm going to grab my smaller pen here to do the change in y. So remember, you go backwards. 50 minus 34 is a positive 16. 56 minus 50 is a positive 6. Apologize for how small I'm having to write here. 58 minus 56 is a positive 2. 62 minus 58 is a positive 4. 74 minus 62 is a positive 12. And then 100 minus 74 is a positive 26. So that's the first change in y. Then we do the second change in y. So again, backwards, 6 minus 16 is a negative 10. 2 minus 6 is a negative 4. 4 minus 2 is a positive 2. 12 minus 4 is a positive 8. And then 26 minus 12 is a positive 14. That's my second change in y. We need third change in y. So negative 4 minus negative 10 is a positive 6. Positive 2 minus a negative 4, don't lose that negative sign there, is a positive 6. 8 minus 2 is a positive 6. And then 14 minus 8 is a positive 6. So my change in x is a 1. The third change in y is a 6. Okay, so here's how we write these. So we're going to have 4 values, a, b, c, and d. So cubic functions, I'm going to write this on the side here for you, are in the form, well, I don't have to, it's on the bottom. Ax cubed plus bx squared plus cx plus d. So to find the a value, it's the third change in y, and that we set equal to 6a. So the third change in y is 6. So 6 equals 6a. If we solve that equation, a equals 1. Here's where things start getting tricky. B value. The second difference between the first two differences of y values, between x equals 0 and x equals 1, and x equals 1 and x equals 2, is 6a plus 2b. Okay, so between 0 and 1, that's this value. Between 1 and 2, that's this value. It wants the second change between these two numbers. So that's this right here. Okay, so that is a negative 4. That's what 6a plus 2b is equal to. So we use what we know. 6a. A is a 1. We don't know b, but we know it's going to be equal to negative 4. We can go through and we can solve this equation. We can subtract 6 from both sides and then divide by 2. And our b value is a negative 5. This is the hardest step, remembering this process. All right, c value. The first difference between the y values is a plus b plus c when x equals 0 and x equals 1. X equals 0 and x equals 1. That's this value. This you use for your c. So a plus b plus c equals 6. So a is 1, b is negative 5. We're looking for c, but we know they equal 6. So again, if we solve this equation for c, c is going to equal 10. The value, oops, sorry, I've got a misprint here, represents 0, d, or the y-intercept. So wherever x is 0, this y value, that's your d value. All right, so we're going to write the cubic function. So a value goes first. So f of x equals, we don't put a 1. Okay, that 1 becomes invisible, so we're just going to write x cubed. B is a negative 5, so minus 5x squared. C is a 10, so plus 10x. and then D is plus 50. So that's when the A value is 1. So now when the A value is not 1, we do the same exact process. So we find the change in X, and we'll find the third change in Y. Okay, so change in X is 1, and the change in X needs to be 1 for this to work. All right, so change in Y. We're going to do the first difference. So 0 minus 23 is a negative 23. Negative 1 minus 0 is a negative 1. 8 minus a negative 1 is a positive 9. 15 minus 8 is a positive 7. 8 minus 15 is a negative 7. And then negative 25 minus 8 is a negative 33. So that's the first change. Now to do the second change. Negative 1 minus a negative 23 is positive 22. 9 minus a negative 1 is a positive 10. 7 minus 9 is a negative 2. Negative 7 minus 7 is a negative 14. Negative 33 minus a negative 7 is negative 26. And then now we're going to do our third change in Y. Okay, so third change in Y, again, remember you're going backwards. So 10 minus 22 is a negative 12. Negative 2 minus 10 is a negative 12. Negative 14 minus a negative 2 is a negative 12. And then negative 26 minus 14 is a negative 12. So my change in X is a 1. And then my third change in Y is a negative 12. Okay, so for the A value, third change in Y equals 6A. So the third change was negative 12. That's equal to 6A. If we solve that equation, we get a negative 2. Here's the tricky one. So, move this up a little bit. All right, we're going to go from where X is 0 to 1, and then 1 to 2. So that's these two values here. And then it's the second change there. So it's this negative 2. So between 0 and 1, and 1 and 2, and then these changes. Okay, so 6A plus 2B equals that negative 2. We know the A is a negative 2, and that's going to equal negative 2. So we have 6 times negative 2 plus 2B equals negative 2. Solving that equation, our B value is going to be 5. All right, C value, A plus B plus C, is going to be equal to the first change in Y, where X is 0 and X is 1. So that's this value, this 9, is the change that we want. So, A plus B plus C equals 9. Y'all can go. So A is negative 2, B is 5, plus C equals 9. We solve that equation. C is going to equal 6. And then the D value is the y-intercept. So the y-intercept is negative 1. And then we can write our equation. So f of x equals A is negative 2, x cubed. B is a 5, positive 5, so plus 5x squared. C is a 6, so plus 6x. And then D, or my y-intercept, is a negative 1.